Usually after a weekend, especially in the summer when we have so many plans, we find ourselves out and about until really late at night. Even if we plan to get home and start things a little bit earlier, like dinner and bedtime, just because the light, we end up being out later than we expect. We come home with dirty clothes, dirty kids, and a house that's disheveled. Most of the times, Monday morning is my reset time, and I have a list of things that I just go through and bring back into order. Most mornings, this involves emptying the dishwasher because we typically run it the day before, reloading it with any late night dishes. I would just blame all the teenagers in our house, but also I like to grab an evening snack as well. So we usually have a few dishes before we even start the morning. I also spend that morning slot swapping over laundry. We typically put all the clothes that the kids are wearing straight into the washer and wash it and have it in the dryer before we go to bed. So then in the morning, I just sort it out. We kind of have a family closet in the laundry room. So most of the kids' laundry just stays right there. I just take the laundry from the dryer and put it into its respective basket and drawer, and then the washer is empty and ready for another day's laundry. Another task I have to do when resetting the home is restocking my fridge, freezer, and pantry. A lot of times I just do this on a weekly basis, but sometimes I like to let everything get really empty so I can clean the fridge really well, make sure everything is being rotated, not necessarily in the pantry on those really long-lasting things, but especially in the refrigerator. I like to do this occasionally where I don't get groceries for a week or two, try to just eat all the random things that you maybe weren't getting to, and then clean the fridge really well and do a massive restock. As a large family, that probably looks like a lot of food, but that's one thing we're going to do this week in this video. Restock the pantry and the fridge and just get a fresh start. I'm also going to share with you some new recipes and cook for my large family. I also have a project I've been wanting to complete. It's just a small sewing project, but I think that it's going to make a big impact. So join me for a week in our new farmhouse build. If you don't yet follow along, my name is Lisa. I'm a mother of 9. We just built a brand new farmhouse, and the goal was to make it look old. So we focused on a lot of the details, a lot of architectural salvage. I do believe the bones look very old, and now we are working on imparting more character on the interior. This fall, we will have been married 19 years. So I've been collecting antique furniture and housewares, baskets, art, china, rugs, and so the house is filled with a lot of that. But this home has its own unique character, and I'm having a lot of fun designing it. So that's typically what you'll find around here. Cooking for my large family, I like to come up with a lot of new recipes because I'm also a food blogger at farmhousehomeboon.com. And then making this house a home, decorating it, that is what I am passionate about. Our new property has a lot of wild blackberries, and 'tis the season for those. Now today we didn't get quite enough, but remember I said I was cleaning out the refrigerator? Well, my daughter makes a ton of pies, and usually she'll have a little bit of pie dough left over and she'll just throw them into a Ziploc. So I have a Ziploc bag that has little remnants of pie dough. Some is whole wheat, some is sourdough. I'm judging by smell and taste and texture and just kind of remembering back to what she made over the last week or so. And so I want to use that up. I also saw in the refrigerator that she had some leftover pie filling, some apple pie filling. So I'm coming up with a bit of a hodgepodge of different recipes. I'm going to roll out the various pie doughs that we have all mixed together, make that the base of this dessert. And then I'm going to add the apple pie filling because that's ready-made, ready to go. Throw on some blackberries and then just make a little oat crumble topping with oats, butter, and brown sugar. This will yield sort of an apple berry pie crisp, if you will. You can't go wrong by combining all of those things. I'm also making my classic raw milk ice cream. So I'm blending up milk and cream, vanilla, egg yolks, and sugar, and I'll just put that directly into the ice cream maker. I do all things sourdough, as you know, but today's a busy day. I'm trying to clean out the refrigerator. I have some leftover chicken salad because we had some guests over the other night and I just made way too much chicken salad, but I want to serve it for lunch and I need it to rise really fast. So I'm making my whole wheat sourdough dinner roll recipe, but instead of sourdough, I'm just putting in yeast to make this fast for lunchtime. Our new farmhouse was built on raw land. It was just a field before, so we put in a well. One way that I can have peace of mind with our water is using Barreau water filters. Barreau is a premium wellness brand dedicated to improving health through effective water filtration systems. Using gravity and activated carbon, Barreau removes over 80 contaminants. Barreau currently has test results for 80 plus contaminants and regularly tests the filters for additional contaminant removal capabilities. For the most up-to-date list of which contaminants are filtered out, go to Barreau.com. Their filters are compatible with any of the Berkey model that you might already have in your house, and they also offer their own system as well that comes in beautiful colors. As you can see, I have a lovely green that looks beautiful in our pantry. Just like with the Berkey system, the Barreau Legacy system is a gravity-fed water filter. So you put water in the upper chamber, it goes through the two filters. I also have the fluoride filters that go on the bottom, and it just drips through. So it's a really simple system, and it's easy to swap out the filters as needed, but they actually last a really long time. Barreau recommends changing them about every 12 months. Of course, it'll depend on the type of water you use and how many gallons your family goes through, but they're very long lasting. Barreau filters are third-party tested and certified by the Water Quality Association. They use activated carbon to physically block and ionically bond contaminants. No electricity or plumbing needed for reliably clean water, which is a big plus. When used in a Barreau Legacy system, the Barreau filters are certified to reduce an average 98.9% of particles that are equal or larger than 0.5 microns to equal or less than 1 micron. To put this in perspective, a human hair is typically around 50 to 100 microns in diameter. So that makes me feel very confident in my water. And since water is the foundation for your health, prioritizing clean water has never been easier with Barreau. Barreau is offering Farmhouse on Boom viewers 15% off. With my code FARMHOUSE, you can head to the link in the description box below. Again, thank you so much, Barreau, for sponsoring today's video. We picked up this antique green leaded glass cabinet on Facebook Marketplace. My husband had to drive an hour and a half, but it was so incredibly worth it. The thing about Facebook Marketplace is I often find so many things that I love, but I don't want to drop what I'm doing that day and go get it, or my husband or my daughter, whoever is going to drive. Usually there are other plans and other things that we have going on, and so it feels very inconvenient, but I still browse Facebook Marketplace because sometimes you'll find the perfect piece that is worth that kind of time and dedication. That is the case with this cabinet. We are looking for a very particular size in this room because we imagine we will use this space for homeschool in the fall. I also use it to do things like voiceovers, like right now I'm sitting here in this room. We want to be able to stash this cabinet with things that aren't pretty. I put my camera in there, my laptop, chargers. We have books and curriculum and random stuff. Like the dog has some pills he has to take, and that's just where we've chosen to stash them. I don't know. And so to make it beautiful, even when it's not styled, which is what the purpose of this cabinet needs to be, I wanted to make some curtains. I also really love putting fabric behind glass. I think it's beautiful, but in some cases I want to display what's in the glass. So this was a perfect opportunity to take advantage of making these curtains. I had some linen fabric that I was originally planning to make a curtain for underneath our sink in our bathroom, but I decided I want to do something with a little bit more color in there, a little bit more of a pattern. I didn't know what I would end up using this linen fabric for, but this seemed like the perfect opportunity because a subtle, neutral fabric will really help the cabinet and its beautiful leaded glass to shine and stand out. And this is kind of just in the backdrop. So I picked up some sash rods on Amazon, and I can leave links to the fabric and the sash rods below. I was looking for ones that had a very narrow range. I think each glass panel is only around like 14 inches. And I just made a very narrow curtain with a rod pocket at the top and the bottom. So all I really had to do was make it about 1.5 times the width of the window, because typically when you're gathering, you want to do about 1.5 what you're gathering it to so that it has those beautiful gathers. And then I just added a couple inches to the length of each curtain. I didn't even get out the tape measure. I just kind of used the fabric up against the glass and then estimated, because I also had a lot of play with where we put the curtain rods. It's a very simple project. 2 hems on the side, a rod pocket at the top and bottom. I had almost the perfect amount of fabric with just a little bit left over to make maybe like a pillow or a tea towel. Someday I'll add that to our stash. But I love the way that this turned out. I think it only adds to the beauty and charm of this beautiful antique cabinet. On the menu for dinner tonight is fried chicken. This is something that we make infrequently because it's a little bit of a hassle, a little bit messy, but the kids absolutely love it, and it's very, very simple. So when making fried chicken, I like to just take boneless, skinless breast and cut them really thin so that they cook quickly. I use my sourdough breadcrumbs, which I just make at the end of the week when we have a lot of random sourdough things like bagels, bread, biscuits. I will cut them all up into small pieces, toast them in the oven, blend them. Then I have sourdough breadcrumbs, which I use all the time. I also had egg whites from all of my ice cream I made earlier and all the egg yolks. So instead of using whole eggs, I'm just using egg whites to use them up. It works out just as well. I dredge my chicken in the egg whites and then in the breadcrumbs mixed with salt. I'm frying them all in lard. I have a bunch of that from buying a hog in bulk. And then when that's all done, I usually pop them in a warm oven while I make the fries. I just strain everything from the fat so that it's nice and clear and then make the fries. Like I mentioned, I need to stock up my fridge, my pantry, and my freezer. Our local Azure drop was today, so I grabbed a lot of our favorite things, but I also forgot a few things, so I added that to a Walmart order. It's just coming in from every which way to get us all restocked. Something that we use a ton of is frozen fruit. I make a gallon of yogurt at a time, and we do a lot of smoothies with frozen bananas, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. That's part of our daily routine typically. I also do frozen veggies. It's just easy to steam them and add some butter, so I get a bunch of that. I'm restocking my sugar and my whole grains. Yes, we do use a lot of sugar in this family because we do a lot of baking and making ice cream. Right or wrong, it is what we do. I also got a lot of honey and maple syrup. We go through a ton of peanut butter, a ton of diced canned tomatoes. We use those in so many things like homemade sauces and different pastas and spaghettis. We love making pasta in our family, and I'm always on the hunt for fun, different pastas to try out, especially ones with simple whole ingredients. I stocked up on butter and cheese as well. With our family, you almost can't buy too much cheese. Well, for one, it lasts a long time, but also we go through a lot of cheese. And I'm happy that my fridge is all organized and reset. It's always so nice to do that. Well, I hope that you enjoyed going along with me for some summer homemaking. I will leave links in the description box below to the recipes I mentioned or any other sources. As always, thank you so much for stopping by our farmhouse.